First thing you'll notice is that the game looks great on the PSP and sounds better. Sure, the voice samples can be a bit much. But in the end, ultimately harmless. Likewise, the designs and animations are a big hit. As for me, I laughed when I first used the boomerang cutter. It's so huge! The introduction is a musical score set to a large splice show of the game's animated clips and the movie Day of Sigma, which we'll talk about later. The most interesting part, at least for people who don't know about the Mega Man X backstory, is the voice clip at the end.
My name is Thomas Light. I am the researcher who designed and built Mega Man X.
Thomas Light? The good doctor who created the classic Mega Man? Interesting. The game starts with a short background of the setting. In the future, robot design will evolve to create Reploids, a type of robot that can learn and act similar to humans. However, Reploids eventually started going rogue and causing damage, an act called going Maverick. Our hero X, yes, his name simply is X, rushes onto the scene of one such incident. Spurred by his sense of justice, he teleports onto the scene of a chaotic street. We're briefly told that the current uprising is being caused by Mavericks. At the end of this intro stage, we find a character who not only looks evil, but has the name Vile to boot. Vile sounds like a funny name, but consider that his Japanese name is Vava, and it was changed to avoid overlap with the Star Wars character Boba Fett. Thus, the localization team gave him a villain name starting with V. Ah, the adventures in translation. And I have to say, the design choice to have his shoulder cannon pointing up is a positive one all the way. When I first saw Vile in the original game, I thought that this was a tube mouth, and now you can't unsee it. In the original game, Vile was pretty intimidating. Let's see what he's like here.
I'm just here to cause trouble for you. I hate you!
That's an interesting voice and character. I'm not one to quickly label a character whiny or annoying, but doesn't that sound like the stereotypical upset teenager? If listening to him put you in the mood to hurt him, you're in luck. He's a fully beatable boss as long as you hit him and not the right armor. Another welcome change from the original. However, X takes it too easy and ends up about to be crushed when an off-screen shot saves him. It's Zero, the ace Maverick Hunter. They briefly discuss how Vile is now an enemy before splitting. Interesting side note, the original game had them discuss X's strength and potential to improve. In time, we'll see why the greater emphasis on Vile. Besides fighting bosses, the game has hidden away upgrades, which reward your exploration instincts by making X stronger. Inside of these capsules are recordings for X of Dr. Light from an age past. I think that the music that plays during these recordings is among the most underappreciated game tracks of all time. It's sad, yet inspirational and otherworldly. It really does feel like Dr. Light is reaching across the mortal coil, trying to communicate with X, and by proxy, us, the gamers. The effect was lost on me when I was a kid, but now that I'm older, the music really hits home. On the SNES, the theme was stronger. On the PSP, it's softer, more emotional. Since emotion is a major plot point, this is a good call. The heightened sense of drama is entirely fitting. The message this music conveys is that nobody lives forever. At some point, we all leave this world, leaving behind only the things we have done. Everybody has something that they, and they alone, can give to the world. The time to make your mark is now, because mortality blindsides all. Back to, the video game. The game progresses the story of X's quest to get stronger, based on how you make the most of X's abilities, and not how much you hack at the same ability over and over. That isn't to say either of these mechanics are superior or inferior, just that they're different and contain different lessons. By the time you step out of the upgrade capsule, Hadouken in hand, you feel you've earned it. You heard me right, Hadouken! In true Mega Man fashion, there are 8 bosses to defeat. Here's where the third act aspect of the main game comes in. You choose the order of stages you play. You won't be bombarded with plot as you complete the stages, and even the exchanges before the boss fights don't contribute too much to the big picture. They are interesting nonetheless. Having played the original enough times to cover a third of my life, it was really fun to see how these former throwaway boss characters were given personalities and motivations.
Sigma has paid for the use of my power. Working for him is a million times better than piddling around on a South Pole with nothing to do.
Boomerang Kuwanger is X's old friend, Armored Armadillo is duty-bound and honorable, and Launch Octopus...
Face it, you've gone Maverick!
Maverick? How dare you call my artistic battle style by that name?
What?
I am an artist, you see, X? An artist of underwater combat. But no one has...
Really? An effeminate artist stereotype. I'm not saying that it's particularly good or bad, but it is out of left field for sure. Once the shock wore off, I actually found it kind of cool. It shows how Reploids can be creative and proud, or at least emulate those functions pretty closely. Once the major Mavericks are down, Zero finds the fortress of the leader of the Maverick Rebellion, Sigma. Shortly into the fortress, we find the bosses of the main stages have returned, minus the personality. Hey, what's a Mega Man 2D side-scroller without a boss rush of some sort, right? Though having all the powers and health to spare does make this concept less intimidating and more fun than you'd think, doesn't it? On the third Sigma stage, we come across Zero, who has been taken down by Vile, and his equally vile ride armor. Deja vu abound as X gets the life squeeze out of him, again. Zero steps in to make a noble sacrifice to give X another chance, which I guess was his only option after Vile disabled his gun arm. The gun arm that could easily blow the limbs off the right armor before. Maybe the right armor is an improved model. After swiftly disposing of Vile, X hunches over his best friend for tearful parting words.
Zero! Hang in there, buddy!
X, I'm always telling you to be more careful. But now look at me.
Don't waste your energy talking, Zero. We gotta fix you up.
There's no time for that. Sigma is close. Very close.
Zero.
Go now. Maverick Hunter X.
It's so hammy, but I would be lying if I said it didn't hear genuine effort. And thus, our dear ally departs. Let us rest assured knowing that Capcom is a company that knows how to respect the passing of a beloved character with as much restraint as Square Enix, or Sonic Team, or Valve. Finally, the long journey reaches its climax as soon as we reach the top of this pillar.
I see a new clarity in your eyes. You are no longer troubled.
What? Context, please.
But why don't you try this on for size first?
Oh, come on! As I was saying... What?
Impressive, X. It looks like you really do have the potential I had seen in you. Our potential is limitless.
And why do you say that? Oh, come on! From what I can gather, Sigma's coup is not about taking over the world, but about furthering the Reploids as a race. That's oddly deep for the bare-bones plot we've received thus far. And just as quickly, we're back to the spectacle.
I should have known you could do it, X. Magnificent, X. And to think you've been classified as a B-class hunter.
Sigma, your Maverick plan stopped right here!
What is it about final bosses being some huge monster rather than a powered-up version of the main villain? Do video games have an obligation to have the final fight in the game's plot be something so excessive? It definitely gives us the impression that this is indeed the final showdown against all odds. Then again, this transformation could be symbolic as well. The villain becomes so focused on his goal that he loses his grip on his sanity. The degeneration of the villain's humanity reaches a boiling point, resulting in a physical manifestation of the madness, a twisted beast form. Well, Sigma, since you are suffering of your own devices, let us put you out of your existential torment, or as X puts it,
I'll finish this! Right here, right now! I will defeat you, Sigma!
wow, doesn't that just bring you back to the olden days of shonen anime, when the main character just bellowed out their determinations? The fight is long and hard, and you may need to use your backup health, but this is the final fight, go all out! Alternatively, you can just... yeah. Thus, with the defeat of Sigma, the Maverick stronghold sinks into the sea. Either Sigma was a load-bearing boss, or we skipped over the part where X called in an airstrike now that the anti-air turrets are offline. As X surveys the fruits of his hard fight, we flash back to when he was first discovered all those years ago.
What's this?
My name is Thomas Light. I am the researcher who designed and built Mega Man X.
It really is Dr. Light, the creator of the classic Mega Man. And it seems X was his greatest and last creation. With X, he left this recording. The speech is fantastically cornball, and the montage with the music just seals the deal. It's so strange to see him act like this, because all we remember from good old Dr. Light is cartoon-inspired antics. Now we see him at the twilight between life and death, speaking to whomever it may concern, with sincere seriousness.
Utilizing his conscience, he is able to think, worry, and act entirely of his own accord. This means that he is also imbued with the materials necessary to facilitate the evolution of robots in the same manner as life. It is an unfortunate fact that human life is short and fleeting. I fear that I will not have the time to ensure the safety of the X project. That is why I have decided to seal him away. Perhaps he will be discovered in the far-flung future and will fight valiantly to ensure peace for all people. Yes, I firmly believe that this will come to pass. But I am not without worry. I fear that X will be swept up in the war we call progress. I urge the people of the future to remember that X is my, nay, the world's hope.
I have to admit, I shed an inspired tear.